Best karma stories. Let's hear them. I see a lot of hurt on this forum, so I thought it would be good to hear how karma eventually catches up with them. Funny, ominous, etc. At least we can find some sort of positivity from this mess. For me, being my betrayal is relatively fresh and karma hasn't hit, but I do hear she is gaining a bunch of weight. Like a lot. She doesn't have anyone close to her anymore. Pretty much alone. Me and my ex-husband don't come from much money. Everything we earned in life we had to fight tooth and nail. He ended up getting a really nice car, and suddenly turned into an egomaniac, for once, not being the broke loser. He ended up becoming a serial cheater and I was none the wiser. At the time, I was submitting resumes for him for the major transit company in our city, with resumes I drafted for him because his old resume looked like it was written by a child. Anyways, I end up finding out about the cheating and dump him around my birthday weekend. Pretty sure he was out screwing a hooker on my birthday, but he got busted driving drunk on his way back. Went to jail, plead guilty to a DUI, lost his license, lost his car, it was leased and he could no longer afford it. Best of all, the transit company reached out to him 2 days later. That's a bust. Last I heard, he's living with his mom and getting around town on a skateboard. Meanwhile, I've moved on, with a high-paying job, studying for a career that we had both planned on doing together and in a way better car than the one he had. I'm fighting the urge to wave hi to him on his skateboard on his route home. My husband of 7 years cheated on me and then discarded me and our unborn daughter when I was 28 weeks pregnant. He stated he would try to stay and work it out if the baby was a boy, but he had no interest since she was a girl. In the divorce paperwork he didn't even request visitation. I had put up with 7 years of financial abuse, gaslighting and infidelity. So, I hired the best lawyer in our city, and she nailed him to the wall. We took him to court and I was awarded a large lump sum alimony payment, payable within 60 days. Meanwhile, the gal he cheated with reported to him at work. Lots of people at his company had huge issues with his infidelity and his decision to abandon his daughter and date his co-worker. One day, about a week before the lump sum was due to me, a lady who worked with him called me up and told me he had been strutting around like a rooster that morning because the CEO had asked to video conference with him unexpectedly. He told everyone his talent had finally been recognized and he was getting a promotion. Instead, the CEO fired him. They took his security badge and laptop and escorted him from the building. And immediately afterward, they went over to his girlfriend's desk and told her she could gather her things and get out too. He freaked out and tried to get out of paying the lump sum since he was no longer employed, but the court stood firm. I was awarded the massive lump sum alimony payment, plus 50% of the rest of our assets, which were not inconsequential. I moved back to my hometown to be near my family to raise my little girl. I met a wonderful man. I've remarried and he has since adopted my little girl. With the money I received from my divorce, I purchased several investment properties and put them all in a trust for my daughter. Me, my husband, and my daughter live a wonderful simple life. We are both self-employed and work about 20 hours a week. We spend lots of quality time with our daughter. We took her to Disney World twice so far. She is surrounded by my family who all adore her. She lives a beautiful life far away from the man who didn't want her because she was a girl. She's never met him or even seen his face. Last I heard, he's been fired 2 more times from various positions and has moved 3 or 4 times. Karma. It's a real thing. My ex cheated on me and bought himself a brand new truck with the money we'd agreed to use to pay off his car and buy him a modest truck so I could have his better car than mine. Also a lot of financial abuse and general abuse, gaslighting, the works. So after I left, he wrecked his truck. He was on the way to see the app, who is also his first ex-wife. Yeah, he was messy. He totaled the truck. He hurt his back and neck pretty badly. He had to have multiple surgeries on his back and neck. App couldn't be there and didn't want to because she's remarried and it's hard to sneak around with someone who can't go out. Also, he stopped being a fun fling when he needed caregiver. He had the nerve to try to guilt me into coming to take care of him, because I wasn't even divorced and had left a few months prior. I never returned his emails. She stopped texting him, and he gained a lot of weight laid up from injuries. Not sure how he's doing now, but karma came for him hard. The best karma story I ever read on Reddit was from a man married to his wife for over 20 years. They had 2 older daughters, 18 and 20, and weren't rich but very comfortable. The wife had been a stay-at-home mom their entire marriage. The wife announced one day that she has been having an affair with her doctor. She was also pregnant with her affair partner's child. The wife said no chance of reconciliation and she wanted a divorce as quickly as possible. She agreed to take none of the marital assets to get the jilted husband to agree, and their divorce was completed within a few short months. The affair partner was in the same position and also gave his ex-wife everything to get their divorce completed as quickly as possible. The now ex-wife and AP both figured they could make the money back quickly with his career as a doctor. Both divorces were completed in about 3 months, and the now ex-wife and her new husband married the following weekend. They left for their honeymoon where they were in a car accident. The ex-wife was unharmed but her new husband died in the crash. The ex-wife was suddenly in a position where she had absolutely no financial assets, no job experience working outside the home, and 7 months pregnant with her new dead husband's child. She was asking her ex-husband to renegotiate their divorce settlement, and he was on Reddit asking whether he should. The resounding advice was a resounding no. On the 28th of December 18, I found out about my ex-husband's addiction, his word, to prostitutes, cam girls, sugar babies, dating sites, and hand jobs at massage places. It was the worst day of my life. I literally shattered into a million pieces. The 28th of December 20, he has a preliminary hearing for his 3rd DUI, 2 resisting arrest charges, engaging in fighting, and public drunkenness. He will most likely go to jail. It will be the worst day of his life. Weird how they do that. I know a guy who pretty much murdered his wife's AP, and who is since in probation, assigned at home and with a number of restrictions, but making money from work. His wife, who was condemned as an accomplice for trying to hide the body, is still in prison because of her insistence to resist everything the police and courts demand of her. So the husband found out his wife was cheating, proceeds to murder the AP, and wife helps in trying to hide the body? The man gets off with a slap on the wrist and the woman is paying the full price? What a shit show. My ex-boyfriend and I were together for 6 years. Throughout the relationship, he was an alcoholic, abusive, and I constantly caught him texting female co-workers and random girls from the internet. I was stupid and naive at the time. This was my first relationship, and I put up with all of it. Well, one day I walked in on him having sex with one of his female co-workers. Admittedly, at first I tried to forgive him and thought we could reconcile. But I had built up so much anger and resentment that I finally had to leave. In the beginning, it felt like he had won. Him and his AP were dating, he got a new car, still kept his job. Me on the other hand, I was living with my mom in a 1-bed apartment. I got into a car accident and totaled my car. No one was hurt including myself. I was failing out of college, and dealing with major depression, suicidal thoughts. Fast forward to today, 2 years later, he is still an alcoholic, broken up with AP, living with roommates at 37 and laid off. I have a great paying job, finished school, now going for my MBA, worked through my depression through therapy, bought a new and nicer car. And I found the love of my life. We are getting married next summer. The ex still texts me groveling about how much he messed up and how sorry he is. I will never let someone treat me the way he did ever again. He was an important life lesson. My biological father cheated on my mother with his high school sweetheart their entire 17-year marriage. We didn't have much money, but every couple of years he'd empty the bank account, run away with her, then crawl back when the money was gone. When I was 16, my mom finally had enough and kicked him out. He ended up marrying his long-term AP who left him for someone else about 3 years later.